Jade Helm, the Cataclysm of the Mother Moon Flood Goddess ISIS, ISIL, IS. According to U.S. Air Force research data, JADE is an acronym for Joint Assistant for Development and Execution, which is a dissident extraction exercise. HELM is an acronym for Homeland Eradication of Local Militants. WAL-MART equals LAW-MART equals Alamari Sacrifice equals LAC Sacrifice. However, hand in hand with all the chatter concerning Jade Helm, another name which is an acronym as well, that is continually mentioned with Jade Helm, is that of ISIS, or ISIL, or IS, the Islamic State. In other words, subliminally speaking, Jade Helm is ISIS. In other words, the U.S. government administration is ISIS, or ISIL, the Islamic State and the Levant. Yet again, the name Jade refers to the jade rabbit that is worshipped by the Chinese as Chang'e, the moon goddess, the flood goddess. See page 73. The name Jade Rabbit is yet another name for the moon, the mother moon flood goddess. In ancient Babylon, Tammuz, the life, death, rebirth deity, modern-day Jesus, had a passion for rabbits. This was referring to his mother Semiramis, the mother moon goddess of her time, who in today's worship by Christians and Muslims, is called Mary. Tammuz's affection for rabbits was but a hypnotic subliminal of affection for his mother Semiramis, the one that the sun god is devoted to, and is won in marriage to his mother moon. The term Isis refers to the mother moon flood goddess of Egypt whose son Horus was also linked to his mother Isis in marriage, the two being made one. This is the worship of the mother and the son throughout this illusory 3D history. This is a bit confusing for sure. But what we have is the Jade Rabbit, the moon mother goddess called Isis, who is ISIL, the Levant territory of the Middle East, which includes Cyprus, Hatay, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, and Syria. This is what's known as the Greater Israel, stretching from the Nile to the Euphrates River of Babylon. This is why Israel and the United States have created ISIS, and are in fact, the suppliers of money and arms and training to ISIS. This is the expansion and establishment of the Greater Israel promised in the Old Testament. And it's through chaos, war, and cataclysm that this Greater Israel will be established. However, there's a twist to all of this. The word Levant, as mentioned in the acronym ISIL. The L stands for Levant. ISIL is constantly the name Obama uses to refer to the Islamic State. The name Levant means, in Germanic, the Morgenland, or the Morningland. The Morningland could be written as the Morningland, as in mourning for someone who has died. Levant also means the place of the rising, or Orient. Think Orient sacrifice here. Levant again means in Latin, Orient meaning east. Again Orient to rise. The Levant region of the Middle East are countries based in and around the Levantine Sea. The Levantine Sea is the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea is symbolically relating to the Pacific Ocean as shown in previous pages. On the eastern shores of the Pacific with east referring to the place of the rising, as in the rising sun and referring to the Orients, or the Orion sacrifice. Consider the names of 3 of the western 11 states which are located directly on the Pacific eastern shore. Oregon equals Orion equals Orion. California equals Caliph of Orion. Arizona equals an anagram for Orients or Orions. Remember Tower 1 of the destroyed World Trade Center on 911 coincides with Oregon. Tower 2 coincides with Arizona. Building 3, the Marriott Hotel, coincides with California. The Twin Towers were brought down with the direct intent of establishing the hypnotic subliminal suggestion that California would be totally and completely sacrificed. Again, keep in mind that Jade Helm is centered on the 6 western states that are located above and below 37 degrees north, and the 4-corner cross. This is the sacrifice cross that the Son of God will be lifted upon. Or the sacrifice will rise in the east of the Pacific, not the east of the Asian land mass. This is suggestion that lends itself once again to the moon goddess Isis, and refers to the moon goddess, the Jade Rabbit, who will begin its march to sacrifice under the guise of the Jade Helm exercise. Jade Helm begins on July 15, 2015. This is 81 days from the Nepal earthquake on April 25, 2015, that has seen many thousands killed in sacrifice already. The number 81 equals 9 times 9 equals the fall. Jade Helm ends on September 11, 2015. Not on September 15, 2015 as reported. There are 139 days from the Nepal earthquake on April 25 to September 11, 2015. The number 139 coincides with 7 on the 11th clock face. multiplying 7 times 11 equals 77, which corresponds to California, which is 770 miles long. This corresponds to Washington, D.C., which is located at 38.5 degrees north, 1/2 of 77, and 77 degrees west. This all relates to Christine Lagarde's magic number 7 speech to the press club. The Levant, and the Levantine Sea, which is the Pacific Ocean, subliminally speaking, has another relationship to the Leviathan sea monster. This sea monster has been referred to as Satan, or the dragon which guards Eden. The name of this dragon is Lotan, or symbolically speaking again, and mentioned previously on this site, in French would be referring to NATO, or l'OTAN, the Organization Treaty Atlantic North. The sea monster is also referred to as a whale. Biblically speaking, the name Jonah comes to mind, who was magically swallowed by a whale, only to live again as he is spewed out onto dry land. Jonah equals Yonah equals Noah equals Noah. Noah refers to the flood, the cataclysmic flood of judgment that has been said to cleanse the earth from corruption and sin. One more concept to consider at this time is that Mississippi and the Mississippi River is another reference to Isis, the Mother Moon flood goddess. Or again, the Jade Rabbit. There are 11 states between the Mississippi and the 11 western states. Adding 11 plus 11 equals 22, the number also associated with the number of floors in the building 3 of the Marriott Hotel. Relating again to the Skull and Bones number 322. Yet again, to the distance from the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to the Lincoln Memorial. The total distance of the National Mall being 2.2 miles. Jade Helm is coming. The Jade Rabbit is coming. The moon goddess Isis is coming. Of all the subliminals and hypnotic suggestions laid out in this blog, these are by far the most direct and suggestive to date. What day the cataclysm strikes is unknown, as time itself is non-existent. Will it be between now and September 11th? Still unknown. However, it's ever so much closer at this point, and all the chatter from every alternative point of view keeps suggesting that 2015 is going to see something unbelievable occur this year. How unbelievable, whenever it occurs, will be beyond what even the conspiracy theorists and truthers could ever imagine. There is no conspiracy. There is only an agenda initiating the illusory cataclysmic judgment day, which began from the very foundation of this illusory 3D plane. Once again, there's no need for concern. Just watch. And wait. And do not ever react or retaliate, or seek revenge. This is all an illusion. May 2, 2015, Prince William and Kate's royal baby girl is born during the Festival of Beltane. The Festival of Beltane occurs during the first third of the year. Princess Diana was born on July 1st, exactly one halfway through the year. Princess Diana was sacrificed on August 31, 1997, at the age of 36 equals 6 times 6. During the Festival of Hecate, marking the second third of the year. Beltane, the goddess of the underworld, which is centered around the date of September 1st. Once again, the royals and their connection to the unfolding agenda of the Luciferian thought process comes to the fore. In plain sight for all to see. The symbolism of the baby being born and ultimately freed from the mother's womb and being recognized as an individual human being, is established by the cutting of the umbilical cord. This act then produces the human belly button or navel. As was even highlighted repeatedly with the success of Shania Twain in her bed midriff producing one of the most famous belly buttons on the planet. Ridiculous of course. But keep watching. The birth of the royal baby and the connection to ISIL, ISIS, or the Islamic State, is thereby linked subliminally with the navel and birth of a new world. ISIL equals Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant. ISIS equals Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. Levant equals navelty equals naval sacrifice. As for the new royal baby's name, watch for some blatant reference to Princess Diana. And if that's not forthcoming, then some hidden occult reference will be included. The Nepal earthquake, the Festival of Beltane, the royal baby birth, the rise of ISIL, the coming cataclysm are all one event. All of the above likewise refer directly to Jade Helm 15. The reader might also see the suggestion which links Nepal to navel, both in spelling and in how they sound. As with many locations around the world, Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, and the site of the Nepal earthquake, stands at 29,029 feet high and is referred to by many as the axis mundi, or the center of the world. Or again, the navel of the world. In much the same way as an umbilical cord provides nourishment to the body. The height of Mount Everest is 29,029 feet. Adding 2 plus 9 plus 0 plus 2 plus 9 equals 11 plus 11 equals 22. The number symbolically and subliminally referring to the flood and total control and repeated endlessly throughout this blog is the number 88. Using the substitution rule of changing the G or the J letters to a Y reveals yet again the connection of Jade Helm 15 to the cataclysmic judgment day of the non-existent God. Jade Helm 15 equals Jade Helm 15, Y equals 25, A equals 1, D equals 4, E equals 5, H equals 8, E equals 5, L equals 12, M equals 13. Plus 15, 25 plus 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5 plus 12 plus 13 plus 15 equals 88. One more connection which links the royals, through Will and Kate and their babies, to the Nepal lake of April 25, 2015. As well as connecting ISIL and the total control flood nonsense, is that Prince George, the firstborn son to Will and Kate, was born on July 22. From April 25 to July 22, there are 88 days. Yet again, from April 25 to July 11, there are 77 days. This is another subliminal hypnotic suggestion which relates to the dice game called Craps, where the players are looking for good luck, by either rolling an 11 or a 7 using 2 dice. The number 11 relates to death, and the number 7 relates to perfection and completion. And the thought process, the Luciferian agenda. The thinkers are looking for good luck. Multiplying 11 times 7 equals 77, relating to California at 770 miles long, and to Washington, D.C., 38.5 north/77 west, etc. To initiate Jade Helm 15, the Nepal earthquake occurred where the dead and missing are still being counted, now into the thousands. Yes. Jade Helm has been launched with the announcement that such an exercise was going to take place, as well as the fact that the Jade projects have been on the elitists' books for many years. Keep counting the dead and missing in regards to the Nepal earthquake. The number will hold extremely symbolic meaning,